Dr. Doshi, thank you so much for joining me on such short notice and at a time when we are well and truly into what seems to be a more virulent wave of COVID-19. The Chief Minister has spoken. There's going to be a complete lockdown for the next 15 days, Section 144 imposed. A lot of questions. I've been talking to a lot of people and I told them that I'll be speaking with you on the note. And all my friends, people on social media send me questions which I'm going to ask you. Dr. Doshi, I'm going to start with my first question. How is this COVID wave different from the first wave that we saw last year?
Okay. First, let me start with the positive note. Last year, we were not well equipped. We did not have the enough knowledge about the corona. We did not had PPE kits, enough gloves, enough oximeters, or let's say vaccine was far beyond our imagination. Now at present, we have got almost favor. The second wave is definitely something which we are worried about. Past experience, I am sure we'll be able to come over this crisis and will definitely succeed in having a victory over this. Let me put this is a third world war.
The third world war is what you call it. I hope those are positive.
Microorganisms. Obviously, the second wave is definitely is to be worried about. The first thing is that it's a mutant virus. And that's why we are still, in a fix whether whatever. Second thing, this virus is bit of more virulence. That means it spreads faster than what it was spreading in last wave. And it reaches the lung very fast compared to what was happening the last time. And the third thing, even the youngsters and the teenagers and especially the children are also getting affected. So yes, these are something which we are worried about. But yes, the standard treatment, what was prescribed in first wave, always remains the same.
So the treatment remains the same, but you're definitely seeing a mutation. Does that mean that the virus can over time mutate all over again and we'll see more variants?
See, I know coronavirus, the name of coronavirus, since the time I was learning medicine, say 50 years back. So corona is not a new word for me. Coronavirus means it is a virus which causes common cold. But this virus we have been facing for years together. COVID-19 is a mutant virus of the same coronavirus, which has never been encountered by the human race. And we do not have the immunological resistance to this particular kind of virus. And that's why it is to be worried about. And yes, if you see, there may be more than 500 mutant viruses of corona as on today. But all of them may not be so virulent.
Okay.
This time the mutant virus which we are seeing is probably the virus which we consider to be UK virus, the variant of South Africa and Brazil, and few more. Unfortunately, these viruses may not bypass your RT-PCR. That means you may not be detected, though you may be having COVID.
Oh, that's another worry, Dr. Doshi. But I want to ask you, in January and February, we started seeing levels going down in terms of the infection. And then we have seen a spike again in March. Was this not anticipated? Was this wave not anticipated?
See, basically, I'll tell you, even best developed country had never anticipated. They thought that second wave might come, but they never thought that mutation will occur like this and so fast it would occur. So, ultimately we have to believe in scientific data. Right. Government will be guided only by the scientific data. And whatever scientific data was available, say in the month of November to probably end of January, was not good enough to show us that such a large or such a dreadful disease would again come back. So yes, during that time, we were lax, our policy paralysis was there. I wouldn't use the word policy paralysis, but the laxity. Okay, now you allow the people to go to the mall or start the train and all that happened. So yes, but I wouldn't blame anybody. Ultimately, everybody has to rely on the scientific data available.
Right. So, Dr. Doshi, you say that there is a mutant, right? Which is far more virulent this time. What are the symptoms? Are the symptoms the same? You're saying the medication line of medication pretty much remains the same. But are the symptoms the same this time? Because obviously it's affecting younger people, like you mentioned.
See, basically, in the first wave, it was the respiratory symptoms:
Right.
cough, cold, breathlessness, shortness of breath. They were the common symptoms. The
Hmm.
same symptoms do persist. Obviously, the major symptom is a fever. However, this time we are finding that the gastrointestinal symptoms, that means diarrhea, vomiting, pain in abdomen, are more than what it was seen in the first wave. Second, we have seen some patient having a pink eye. And the from pink eye, you can diagnose that patient is going to have a COVID. Otherwise, loss of smell, loss of taste was very common as it was
Hmm.
there in the last wave.
Dr. Doshi, the large number of viewers and listeners of The Note who would be listening to you right now. What is the best pandemic protocol that all of us need to follow?
Okay. I usually call this the factor 9.
Okay.
People can remember factor 9. The most important is isolation. Second, right mask, not only the mask, but the right type of the mask. 3 layer or 3 filter mask is the best mask that you should wear. The third thing is a social distancing. Keep as much social distancing as you can, and the hand wash. These are the four major things which I advise, which was also there in our first wave. Apart from that, there are certain important things which we have seen. Car travel.
Hmm.
You travel in a car with a person who is infected, and just within 15 days, you will get the COVID. Air travel, whether you are in a business class or you're in economic class, if even there is one or two persons traveling with you for more than 3 hours, you are likely to get it. The third very important thing is your lift, because lift is
Okay.
something which can really cause very bad effect. If
Hmm.
you are there
Hmm.
in the lift for more than 3 or 4 minutes, it's good enough to get contaminated. The
Hmm.
fourth thing is a crowded places as usual. And the fifth thing, which is very important, which I want to tell you, all your crowd, who may be working in a cabin, in a
Yeah.
closed office place. And if it is not more than 500 to 1000, more than 500 square feet, it is very likely that you will infect all the people sitting with you in that closed premises, because we usually use air condition. There is no
Right.
fresh air. So these 9 things are very important.
I think you put it very well, Dr. Doshi. Factor 9 is something that we are going to remember, and I hope all our listeners and watchers are also listening to this. But there's a lot of paranoia. I'll talk about myself. If I get a sneeze or if I feel a cough coming, I start feeling that I might be getting the symptoms. Is there any way out of this paranoia? How do
Actually,
we determine between the two?
I wouldn't even use the word this is paranoia. I
Hmm.
would say that any person having cough, cold, and fever in
Yes.
this particular season, it is considered that it is a COVID unless proved otherwise.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Okay.
what is wrong if you get a symptoms like this? What is wrong in being isolated for a few days
Hmm.
and see whether your symptoms are increasing or not? Just don't neglect, because even if you get tested and even if you come negative on the first day, you
Hmm.
may be positive on the fourth day. Sometimes people rush that, okay, tomorrow I have a meeting, today I have a sneeze or cough, let me check. You go to the doctor, he will do RT-PCR and he'll say you are negative and you'll be happy. Oh, I am negative now, I can do the meetings. I
Right.
would always advise that stop meeting of those kind when even if you suspect that it could be. So yes, it's good to recognize that my sneeze could be a COVID. Right now, I would say unless and proved otherwise, you feel that you are COVID positive.
Okay. Okay. That's very good advice, Dr. Doshi. I mean, there's so much of good advice coming here. I'm trying to remember as much. But you mentioned right at the beginning that this time around you're seeing all age groups getting infected. Can you elaborate on that?
See,
Is
basically,
it
last
any and every age group, right from a baby up to older people?
yeah, see in last wave, what we saw that suppose somebody is infected in the family, suppose youngsters has been
Right.
infected. He will not come up with any symptoms. And ultimately, maybe one or two senior people in the family gets affected. This time what has happened, that the whole family gets affected, right from the small child to the mother-in-law and father-in-law and husband and wife and their young children, all six of them you find positive. So once you find that they are all positive, obviously we are not worried about those who does not have the comorbidity. We are also not worried about those who are less than 50 years of age, those who are physically fit. We are not worried about that because chances of they, I'm sorry, chances of they going into any major complication is rare. But however, we are always worried about the senior citizens. When I say that everybody is to be isolated, I don't mean that the people who are positive are patients or to be worried about. What we are worried about is that they should not infect the other people who are likely to be at the risk.
Okay. Dr. Doshi, a lot of people have gotten vaccinated, especially over the age of 45, right? And a lot of them, some of them rather, have also got reinfected, with the result that many are questioning the efficacy of the vaccine. What would you say to people who say, भाई हमारा कुछ लोगों को तो वैक्सीन के बाद भी इन्फेक्शन हो रही है, so what's the point?
Let's consider two things: the incidence in non-vaccinated people and the incidences in vaccinated people. And you'll find that incidence in vaccinated people is such a low incidence that you cannot compare with the patients, with the age group or the sample size of non-vaccinated patient, one. So it definitely has an advantage.
Right.
Second thing, if you are vaccinated, your chances of getting a serious disease is also very less. It is documented. And your chances of having death is almost negligible. So you cannot think of negativity. You have to think of, suppose you are driving a car.
Right.
What are your chances of getting an accident? So will you stop driving a car? No, you will drive the car.
Right.
So similarly, if you take vaccine, it is not 100% foolproof.
Right.
However, it definitely has an advantage over the person who is not vaccinated. So you should take the vaccine.
We've been hearing over the past 1 year, and rightly so, that a strong immune system is the best way to fight the virus. What would you say? And I know people have read about this ad nauseum, but it seems that sometimes when there is a gap and things become better, people forget the regimen they need to follow. What is the essential for a strong immune system?
If you know the mathematics very well, and all of you know, I know, I'm not talking about some rocket science. I'm talking about very simple. 95% of immunity, good immunity, is not developed by anything else except your exercise, fresh air, and right diet. 95%.
Okay.
Now you miss that. And then you try somebody gave homeopathic medicine, somebody gave kada, somebody is talking about haldi, somebody is talking about all the kitchen items which we have. Now try to understand that is your 5%. What about 95%? Fresh air, exercise, and right diet.
Okay.
Good sleep. Again, immunity is very important if you don't have a good sleep. So if you have a good exercise, good sleep, good diet, and fresh air, your immunity is 95%. All those 5% things we are so much worried about and focusing on. And my God, this what I always call the WhatsApp university is horrible.
Yes.
Horrible. Remember, nature has given us enough things to protect ourselves.
You know, Dr. Doshi, I've tried to put together maximum number of questions that perhaps a lot of viewers might already have answers to, but I still want to put this information out. Now, what if we do a COVID test and we turn positive, we test positive, but we don't have the symptoms? In that case, should people be lax and say, I don't have the symptoms, so I should just, mingle with people? What is the protocol that one should follow?
If you mingle with the people, you are likely to infect other 30 people, statistically. Do you want to do
30
that?
30 people.
30 people.
Okay.
So do you want to do that? As simple as that. You might infect your wife, your children, your parents, your relatives, your colleagues. So when you are positive and you are not having a symptoms, you are not at the risk. but others will be at risk, and that you cannot allow.
Okay. Another situation, one person in the family tests positive, doesn't need to be hospitalized, is isolated in one room. What is the protocol that the others in the house need to follow? They might not have tested positive, but what is the protocol they should follow?
Obviously, two important things: mask and social distancing.
Okay.
Very important. Nothing more than that is required. And the use of washroom. See, we are not staying in a very high class families, most of us, right?
Yes.
And there could be only one bathroom in the family.
Hmm.
And there is no possibility of getting a bed or a quarantine center. So what will you do? Now, here the problem comes that
Yes.
once the bathroom is used by the person who is COVID infected, the bathroom should be kept open. There should be good exhaust available to that bathroom, and that bathroom should not be used by any other member minimum for 15 minutes. Simple way. Because this is what practically we find. Second thing, the person who is being isolated in his room should try to see that there is a good ventilation of that room. Ventilation of that room with the air outside is more important than his air going to the main hall or the other rooms. So
Okay.
that care should be taken.
Okay. My next question is it possible that you're around a COVID-19 patient? Suppose you go to a meeting and you realize later that you've been with a COVID-19 patient. Is it possible that you might still not get the infection?
Depends on how much distance you had and how much what kind of mask you are wearing and how much time you are exposed to. Suppose I see a person, I am a doctor, I see a patient maybe for a few minutes, keeping a good distance and having a good mask, which I am wearing, I will not get the infection. I don't need even to wear a PPE kit at that time because the patient is away from me. I'm not touching the patient. I'm only taking the history, or maybe, he takes his own thermometer, he uses his own oximeter. So distance, mask,
Mask.
and the amount of the time which you spend with that particular person.
Okay. The next one is, what kind of food should somebody have who's COVID positive? Is there any specific diet that one needs to
No,
follow?
there is no specific diet. On the contrary, he should enjoy whatever he's enjoying.
Okay.
Don't tell him, don't
Most
take
people
pizza.
don't feel hungry. Yeah.
Don't feel hungry, but even because, and when you don't feel hungry, it's better that you eat something which you like. You are having a COVID, don't eat pizza. You only eat khichdi. Now he doesn't
Right.
like khichdi. How can you give a khichdi? So he's allowed to eat whatever he wants to eat. However, alkaline food like lemon, pineapple, bananas, they're very good for the immunity booster or as an immunity booster. So
Okay.
there are certain remedies like fruits and certain things like haldi, whatever we take in the home. These are very good, I would say, antioxidants, and at the same time, something which can boost your immunity. But let me again tell you, that's only those 5%.
5%. 95% is exercise, fresh air, and good food, right? Okay. What would be the impact, God forbid, on a pregnant woman if she tests positive?
It's like a normal person.
Okay.
It's like a normal person. On the contrary, usually we see that during pregnancy, the immunity is better.
Right.
It's a natural immunity which is better. But he is to be treated like a normal patient. Isolation, mask, whatever medicines required, Zincovit, vitamin C. And so there's nothing specific.
Okay. Okay. Are there any things that, suppose I'm thinking right now, there's a lockdown, I need to keep a list of things with me just in case, right? Would you have a list of, must-haves in every household right now?
You're talking about medical part.
Medical part, yes.
Mask, gloves, oximeter, thermometer.
Okay.
If you're a diabetic patient, you should have the self-detection diabetic machines which are available.
Right.
I will also suggest, though it may be too much for many of us, but in society, even if you can buy one or two oxygenerators,
Oxygenerators. Okay.
which gives you 5 liter of oxygen. It's called 5L because 10L are not available right now. Those things could be very, very useful in emergencies.
Okay.
So, we usually, we have a very good TV. We have got very good fridge. But if you ask about the medical instruments, yeah. And the third, I'm so sorry. One more thing. There is a 250 rupees lung exerciser.
Okay.
Spirometers are available. Keep it in home. Use it. When you are seeing TV, do it for 10 minutes. Every
Okay.
family members can do it. So your lung capacity is better. And if your lung capacity is better, you think that COVID cannot damage you.
Okay, that's great advice. Thank you so much, Dr. Doshi. Can we go for, I know right now there is Section 144 outside, so I'm not advising anybody to, not follow what the government is saying. But once these restrictions are over, can we go, because the pandemic is not going away anytime soon, can we go for a walk or a run wearing a mask?
Madam, I want to tell you one thing. That is a third world war.
Okay.
You don't have to complain about your hunger. You don't have to complain about your entertainment. Don't complain that, oh, my child doesn't have an exam this time and his years will be wasted. Oh, teachers are not teaching. The schools are not working. I think these are all minor things of your life. It's not major. Okay. If you can walk in the society building, it's fine. If you can't
Right.
go walk, cannot have a walk in the garden, it's all right. Nothing to worry about it. You can walk in your home if it is a big enough. You can walk on your terrace. You can
Right.
do a light exercise in the house. The options are available. Why you want to insist that I want to go out and have the exercise? My club is not working. My track is not working. You have no right to complain about entertainment, school, hunger, job. No, these are all very, very secondary things because consider that this is a world war.
Consider it is a world war. So for all of those who are complaining about, and including me, complaining about lack of this and lack of that, I think we must hear what Dr. Doshi is saying.
I think I
Dr.
would add
Doshi,
one more thing over here.
yes,
Marhum. See, the India's population equals to the population of the whole Europe, plus
yes,
America, and plus Brazil. Think about this. To blame
yes,
somebody is very good. To blame somebody is very easy. But when it comes to a ground reality, to provide basic things to 135 crore of people is not an easy task. And then varieties of views, varieties of culture, varieties of people. You see, I mean, one side the election is going on, the other side Kumbh Mela is going on. If you do like that, there is a problem. If you do like that, there is a problem. So complaining about, see, yesterday somebody was telling me that our chief minister would have, imposed this 10 days back. Now, do you think that they don't know what's happening?
exactly.
You see, the ministers who are there have been experienced people. The bureaucrats are experienced. They have their own limitations, their own restrictions. And there are so many things which they have to consider before they do something. So to
Yes.
advise somebody, I don't know what is cricket. And I would say, my God, Dhoni should not have played like this. It's like that.
You say it very well. Can pets give the infection to humans and vice versa,
Not
Dr.
known
Doshi?
yet.
Not known yet.
But yes,
Okay.
how this COVID has occurred, I'll tell you. The coronavirus has been there, and COVID-19 also has been there in the bats for many years.
Right.
But it was never infected, it never came to the human being. This is the first time that this kind of virus has come from the bats to the human being. But
Okay.
yes, we do not have the established relationship between pets and human being.
Okay. Finally, a question, Dr. Doshi. There are a lot of people who believe in homeopathy, in alternate medicine. What would you say to them? Does that help in, keeping COVID-19 away? What is your advice to them?
See, I'll tell you, I always say very jocularly that in this country, all the people who are not doctors are doctors. And any message they get from here to there is passed on like a viral. Somebody said Corona is Shadayantra. Somebody says Corona will never go. Somebody says Corona has been imposed on us by some world's top financial people because they want to have the advantage out of this and they want to create the
Yes.
vaccine. And there are people who would say, take this Ayurvedic medicine, take this homeopathic medicine, and you'll be fine. I would not ask anybody not to do that. Okay, if you have a faith in homeopathy, take it. If you have faith in Ayurvedic, take it. But again, your good immunity comes from what I told you:
Yes.
fresh air, diet, exercise, and good sleep. 4 things you must remember. Your proven protective mechanisms, or the proven things which are scientifically proven, is mask, distancing, and hand wash, and isolation whenever it is required. So if you say that I took a homeopathy medicine or I took an Ayurvedic medicine and I will not suffer of COVID, I think that would be a problem.
Okay. Dr. Doshi, my final question to you. I've heard this, I've been asked this question, to send this question to be asked to you. Is the vaccine vegetarian or non-vegetarian? Now, I know it's a bizarre question, but it's been asked, so it's my duty to ask you.
First of all, most of the vaccines, how they are produced, try to understand. It's like first of all, there are viruses. These are RNA viruses. Again, these are not RNA DNA viruses. They're very different kind of viruses. I cannot go into the detail of it, but let me tell you, RNA virus means there is an infective material inside that particular virus.
Right.
However, this virus cannot multiply of its own. It's like having a USB without a printer. What is printer? Printer is your host cell on my
Right.
body. Okay. So these kind of viruses, how the vaccines are produced, these viruses are dried. And the protein which is there in these viruses is taken out to prepare the vaccine. All the vaccines are prepared in the same way. So there is no vaccine who you said, like it's like using, like I'll tell you very simply that suppose I am a Jain and I am, okay? And in Jainism it is said that plant is a living being and you should not destroy them. Fine, okay. But when the plant is dried and it has become a wood, that it doesn't remain a living being.
Right.
So similarly, when the viruses are dried, the life has gone from that. The only protein has remained, and we recreate the vaccine out of that protein. So in my opinion, being a Jain also and knowing the microorganism very well, I would consider vaccine as a vegetarian. I would not consider that as a non-vegetarian thing.
Okay, Dr. Doshi, you have been most helpful. I think anybody who were to hear this episode of The Note is going to learn a lot. Thank you so much for your precious time. I know you've been working 24/7. It's a very challenging time in Mumbai. Thank you so much for joining me on The Note.
So thank you very much. Again, remember, air, fresh air, good
Fresh air.
diet,
Yes.
exercise, and your sleep are your real friends. Isolation, mask, hand wash, and social distancing is what is all the weapons which you have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Doshi. Thank you so much.